So we'd like to start off by telling you how we met. It started on cruise ships about 24 years ago.
Right.
Did I get it right?
Yeah.
24 years?
It was 24 years ago.
And it was an unlikely story, and I'm going to let you share it because you tell it way better than I do.
Yes, the proverbial cruise ships passing in the night.
Yes.
So I moved to Florida, and very shortly after I moved to Florida, somebody had said, hey, there's a job at Disney that you need to do. And so a month after I moved to Florida, I auditioned for the job, and I got the job because we were both trumpet players back then.
Yep.
But I did not know her. And so I got the job at Disney, and like within a week at Disney, somebody said, so you're doing this, this, and this. And I said, yeah. And they're like, oh, so you know Danielle. And I'm like, no, I don't actually. That's nice. And then I went on, right? Well, about 3 months later, another friend of mine from a different job called up and says, hey, I need a trumpet player on a cruise ship. I said, great, when? He said, in 3 days. I said, okay, no problem, I'll be there. So I drove down to Miami, got on a cruise ship, and as I got on the cruise ship, somebody was getting off the cruise ship, hint, hint, that same very day. Passing
Yes.
night. There we go.
That's right.
So I got on the bandstand the first night, and the trumpet player next to me says, what, you worked at Disney, you went to school in Florida, so you know Danielle? And I'm like, who the bleep is Danielle? At this point, I couldn't believe it. And so I'm just following Danielle everywhere I went. And then finally, there was a hurricane, which we don't like hurricanes, but there was a hurricane that came into the Caribbean, and when that happens, all the cruise ships go to a port that's safe. And so there was about 20 cruise ships, okay, maybe 5 or 6, but anyway, in Nassau, Bahamas. And the ship that I was on, we had to do a formal dinner, and so we're playing, and we're in our tuxedos, and the curtain opens, and there's all these people in the front row, which never happens, and the trumpet player next to me leans over and says, hey, remember that Danielle? And I said, yeah. He goes, that's her in the front row. And I'm like, no way. And so I was so excited I was going to finally get a chance to meet her, and then after the dance set, curtain opens, they were gone. And so I couldn't believe it. So I put my stuff away, full tuxedo, August, in Nassau, Bahamas.
Yep.
It's like 110 degrees with 300% humidity.
Yes.
I am running down the pier yelling her name. Now remember, I've been following her for now 2 years. She has no idea who I am, and I'm yelling her name. And so she's like, who the hell is this guy anyway? So that's how we actually met. And it took me a while to explain that story to her as well. But then the rest was history.
Yes.
Yep.
Then Flip became a band director. And he was actually the musical director for the entire ships. There was like 40 musicians, and he got to choose another trumpet player to come on the ship, and that was the ship Destiny.
Yeah,
So
I wonder who I'm going to choose.
somehow I landed on that ship as the second trumpet player, and I think that's where the rest is history. And
Yep.
we kind of make a joke about the Destiny landed us in Nassau, and that's how we met. And I don't know how many years later, but there was an event where we are in a cruise ship. He was in the bathroom sitting on the bathtub, and he asked me to marry him.
That was about 6 years later.
So we got married.
4 years later.
Eventually moved on land, and then started our career in real estate.
Yep.
And now 10 years later, we own 6 real estate businesses, primarily focused on passive income. And the passion was really to provide passive income for ourselves, but also do it for other investors so that they could come along the ride with us.
Right, because the main thing was we realized why passive income was so important to us, because passive income now gives us the time freedom that we want,
right.
which allows us to do what we want, when we want, where we want, and with whom we want, and also allows us to give back to all the causes that we want to give back to. And so it really changed our outlook on everything, and we're like, more people need this.
Absolutely. So we kind of related financial freedom to time freedom, because when people talk about freedom, they talk about time more than they talk about finances. But in order for you to do what you want when you want, you have to have the financial freedom to be able to have time freedom. And so that's why we got so passionate about it, and we built these 6 companies, and we want to achieve freedom through passive income ourselves and do it for others along with us.